We're stuck in Vermont.
Welcome to Stuck in Vermont, brought to you by 7 Days. My name is Ava Solberger. We are here on the Vermonter train, riding from Essex Junction, Vermont, to the southern tip of Vermont, Brattleboro.
Personally, I get a lot of enjoyment riding the trains. This is the only way to go.
And I just fell in love with the railroad. I guess it's in my blood.
The Vermonter is running a special fare. You can go anywhere in Vermont one way for $12. We're going to go spend 5 hours in Brattleboro, then take the train back up to Essex Junction in one day.
What?
I love travelling by train. I think it's really relaxing. I love to see the view.
They're comfortable. You can get up and walk around.
Sit and talk, and you don't have to worry about who's driving. And
this is wonderful compared with trains in the United Kingdom. There is so much legroom.
it's cool to see the towns that you know from a different angle.
You certainly look out the window and you get a different perspective.
Experiencing the world like theater, looking at this panoramic sort of stage view.
It's great for the imagination.
He is totally relaxed.
And I like this journey also.
A lot of people now are taking trains.
Come on, let's take a trip on the train.
Aboard this 787, I should inform the public that I am afraid to fly. Yeah, afraid to fly. Yeah.
Well, the Vermonter is a state-supported service.
It's subsidized by your state. Did you know that?
It starts in Washington, D.C., and it's a continuous train from Washington, D.C. to St. Albans, Vermont.
I've always wanted to ride this Vermonter because it's a class train.
The Vermonter, oh my God, is never not on time. It's so punctual.
Because Vermont, being rural that we are, we need public transportation to get the people in and out of the state because a lot of people can't afford to fly.
We were experiencing double-digit increases in train travel, about 78,000 this year on the Vermonter.
If it wasn't for the trains, this country would have never come to what it is today. The development of the country did not burst out until the trains connected to two continents.
Bear in mind, if you can envision the state without the interstates, it was a very, very different world.
If your parents worked on the railroad, you had a job on the railroad. That's the way it was, a family business. I have 5 generations of my family on this New England Central. Well, my father was a diesel electrician, and my grandfather was a payroll timekeeper, and my great-uncle was a fireman on the steam locomotives, and of course my great-grandfather furnished wood from his woodlots in the St. Albans area for the steam engines back in the late 1800s.
In the early 1900s, travel into Vermont, once you got into the winter season, was almost impossible unless you came by train, and the commerce was coming from the railroad.
Economy, and you see the country. You get on an airplane, you don't see nothing.
In the aeroplane, we can't see anything. Yeah, the scenery is very nice. We can easily see everything.
It's not stressful. You don't have to worry about traffic. And
on a train, you get to meet people, you talk to the people.
It's an entirely different experience. It's a very civil experience.
You don't have to concentrate all the time. You can relax, in other words.
It takes a little bit longer, but when I get there, I don't feel like I've been run through a ringer.
I meet all sorts of people from all over the world that come to Vermont.
Where you can get up, walk around, meet people.
Oh, I love meeting people on trains.
We are going to Washington, D.C.
I'm going to Connecticut.
And we're going to Trenton.
Amherst. I'm going back to school.
Already we met people from Scotland, England, and India.
The other day I had some people from Australia, Iraq, Tibet, Nepal, India, from South Africa, New Zealand.
I've met more people on trains, and I've rode trains all over the world, from China all through.
I had a couple that met on the train a few years ago, and they got married.
A train is more efficient than anything that's flying, driving, or anything else.
We're running on diesel, right?
Well, diesel, electric, you know that.
And I also think trains are really important to our future because I think driving cars is getting to be more and more problematic.
It's actually cheaper to take a train than if you have a big truck or whatever.
We're going green in Vermont.
And I had no clue there was a train 4 blocks from my house that went to Brattleboro and back in a day.
Brattleboro is a great place. It's a city, or it's actually still a town, of about 12,000. Has a great downtown, has a lot of locally owned businesses, walking-friendly town.
Just keep this ship from sinking. Tack left, adjust the rigging. Hooray for cannonballs. Jackknives from off the starboard bow.
Right now, we've got the Art of Action exhibit here in town. It's 10 artists' depiction of the future of Vermont, works that'll travel around the state for a year now.
Who knows what the future holds for Vermont, but it may involve traveling by train.
Just ignore the pirates, getting ready to burn this houseboat down.
And one day you can go from the top of the state all the way down to the bottom. And through December, you can do that for $12 one way.
If it was a regular fare, I probably wouldn't have done it either.
It's trying to encourage people to get out on the Vermont rails, see what there is to see out the window, relax, meet your fellow passengers, and maybe go to a Vermont town that you've never been to before.
You can see our beautiful state by trains.
Plenty of greens we can see, and water is also nice. It's a God's gift is there, much for America.
Vermont is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
80 million people on the hot highway. We move on rubber rolling, gas is burning, axe churning. Hooray for ethanol! Stop signs and off the mighty plow. Hope that all the cars in all the world simultaneously break down.
And we had a pleasant trip, and we're going to have a pleasant trip going home.
Ride those rails, and we'll get stuck around with you again real soon. Toot, toot. Okay, all done. Done. And now is on the Vermonter. Then we dance.
Ava, put down that camera. This is serious now. Ava, they're stopping the train. Those two look like trouble, like enemy agents. Watch out for them.